We've been talking all week about laboring less, and today we're going to talk about what the benefits are. While you hear this opening, think about one or two of the benefits you might have and see if they match our list. Coming up shortly on today's Antidote.
Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Hey, can't hear that when I'm out. I don't know why I can't hear that intro, but it makes it harder.
Okay. Well, it was an interesting, you're a little off key, off rhythm with your.
Yeah, I know. Just
intro.
couldn't get there.
All right. That's all right.
How are you today?
I'm doing very well, thanks. How about yourself? You're out and about again.
I'm out and about. Yeah, there's something about being out and about, and I'm taking a chance here because it looks like it's going to start to pour any second now, and I'm outside. And on top of that, the sunroof is open. So I've got a lot riding on this program getting done before it rains.
Fair enough. Well, then let's dive right into it. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Antidote, our daily broadcast and podcast, where each day we have a conversation around the topic of the week. This week's topic, as Bob mentioned, is labor less. And as we go through that conversation around the topic, if you have thoughts or ideas you'd like to share, please feel free to put them in the comments. Whether you happen to be watching us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, or
LinkedIn Live, baby.
Yes, LinkedIn Live. We welcome your feedback because we know it'll add value to our show and, might be going in a direction that we weren't. And at the end of the conversation, Bob and I will each share our one thing. That thing that we hope will help you, maybe today, although also somewhere the way down the road when you're stuck and can't figure out your next step along your own unique pathway to success. And of course, if you have a one thing that you would like to share, please feel free to do it. All right. So before we dive into our topic, though, every morning we start our show with our celebrations. Bob, what are you celebrating today?
I am celebrating music. So I find that when I'm trying to work and I can't get into a rhythm, excuse the pun, music is very powerful. And yesterday I was struggling to get a couple things done and I turned on some music and I listened to classical music. And classical music actually brought me some comfort and got me into a zone where I could focus on the things I needed to focus on. So I'm celebrating music today.
And classical music at that.
Classical music even. Yep. Don't ask me what it was. I just went to Spotify and hit the classical music channel and up came, something.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah. I typically work with music on. I find that as either music on or crickets in the background, one of the two that seem to be a part of
rap or hip hop, right?
No.
Death metal?
No.
No Pantera? No Metallica?
No, sorry. It's not.
Okay.
Not my musical taste. I'd listen to it, although not likely when I'm working. So anyway.
Okay. All right.
So my celebration for the day is actually, I'm going to celebrate you for doing your thoughts while running again yesterday.
Oh.
I saw that you posted that. And I just think I'm going to celebrate the action that you took.
Oh, thank you. That was it was something I debated for about a week, and then I just decided yesterday it was time. And if you don't know what Tom's talking about, I used to. It's been 3 years, Tom. Can you believe that? 2.5, 3 years?
Can't be.
2 years? 2 years?
You were doing it during the pandemic. The pandemic hasn't been. You were doing it in 21.
I think it was at least 2 years.
I disagree.
Okay. Anyway, so I used to do this thing where I would go for a run in the morning early, and then afterwards I would just do a broadcast, really brief, about what was going through my head related to work. And Tom said to me several times I should do more of those, and I finally decided that was a good solution to a challenge, which was just getting more information out in people's hands. And I like the format because it's great to think about it while I'm running. And I think a lot while I run, and now I have a focus for it. So
I'm not sure I said you should do it.
yeah,
I just said that might be interesting to do.
It might be interesting. There you go.
Yes.
And we have some plans for it too, right?
I'm sorry?
We have some plans for it. It's gonna shift to a different platform sometime in the near future.
Yes, indeed, it will. It'll move to our app shortly. We'll tell you more about that soon.
There you go.
All right, so let's dive into our topic before it rains outside on Bob. So we've been talking all week about laboring less. And, really there's the two sides to it that I think we've explored both days. One is actually doing less work. And the things that come along with that, what that means and why it matters. And then there is struggling with your work less, the other part of labor, or the second of many parts of how you could define labor. And so I think we've had some interesting conversations about it. And to me, I think the benefits would seem apparent, and yet so many people, I think, believe that they have to work harder or longer. You want to share some thoughts on that, Bob?
Sure. I think you tapped into what I was going to say, which is the whole idea that, I got promoted and therefore I need to work harder. I need to be the first one in the office and the last one out. I have to not take my lunch, and I have to go to every meeting, and I have to watch over my staff and make sure they're doing every little thing correctly. And I've got to make sure that all the numbers match up. And I think that's a frequent area that someone who is new in management takes on, that they have to work harder. Well, they're paying me more, I need to do more. What I've found is the best leaders I've worked with are not the ones who do the most work. They're the ones who are most efficient at getting the work done, whether it's by them or their team. They are positioning the players that they have in the positions that lead to the greatest level of success. And so if I'm really good at writing, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to send me out to take out the trash all day when you need someone to write something. It would make more sense to have me do the writing and have someone else take out the trash. And I think when we talk about laboring less, we're really talking about trying to get everyone, including ourselves, in the position where we're most effective, doing the things that we like, doing the things we're good at, doing the things that really help make us uniquely qualified to be in that job. And that doesn't always match up to the job description. I've worked with many people who we've hired them based on a job description. They've come in and it's like, oh, you can do that? Really? We had a graphic designer at one job. He was brilliant at developing websites. He built us an entire news website from scratch over the course of maybe a year. It was amazing. And it wasn't even something we were looking at when we hired him. It's just we hired him and we started talking about, boy, it'd be great to have a website. This is like 2008, 2009, when it was really should have been there already. And he just took it on. And we got this incredible gift of this person that I looked at his job description. We never said a word about the internet, never said a word about graphic design beyond doing brochures and a print newspaper.
Sure.
So there's a great example where someone's natural abilities and their interests aligned with what the organization was trying to do. And it made it really easy to get the work done. I oversaw it. I didn't have to worry about it. He would just find time every week, work on stuff, then come and say, hey, Bob, I did this thing. What do you think about this? Oh, that looks great. What about this? It's not quite what we were looking for. Can't go this way. And he just took it on. And it made my job as someone who's trying to get a website developed incredibly easy, because I didn't have the day-to-day responsibility. I had the oversight responsibility. What do you think about all that?
No, I think it makes I think it's a lot of sense that when you find people who have skills and you put them in places, it usually becomes less work. I think the other, I'm going to take it in the direction I think that you started the week with. Is it just, laboring less got me.
You just keep bamboozling me.
Well, I want to keep you on your toes. I just got thinking about the situation I had where I was in a unique situation. I had moved for a job and a family hadn't moved yet. And so I didn't, I didn't have a lot of other responsibilities at the time outside of work. And there were some challenges that we were facing, we were trying to address. And so my initial solution to it was to work more, to work harder. Going back, because as you did your intro, you were talking about first in the office, last to leave, and all that stuff that we feel is what's going to help us move forward. And what I found was that more and more I was tired, stressed, couldn't focus, and was forgetting things because I was just spending too much time working and working long, crazy hours so that I was thinking that was the value I was going to get. And in reality, it ended up being a challenge that I was just not able to get to focus the way and remember things the way I could have. And so rather than, so once I started working less, and once my family moved down and things started to change, I started to find a different rhythm to it, and was realizing what I was, the challenges that I was creating for myself by working more. And what I missed out on the opportunity was that clarity, that ability to really think, the ability to focus. And so I think that's really, truly one of the benefits of doing that less, is that you're more focused on what it is you're trying to accomplish, and you're doing it with a clearer head. Somebody once shared that if you're not taking care of yourself, or how are you going to show up and help either take care of others or do the things that you're responsible for? And so I think that the opportunity to work less, labor less, and again, I think that also goes to the things that you're working on that you like and that you enjoy, they become a lot easier to do as well.
There's great research out there, Tom, about when you work over 40 hours, the slippery slope of, you spend the time, but the results go down very quickly so that you're not really as efficient. You would think, if I work 48 hours, I got 8 more hours in. It's more like if you work 48 hours, you probably got 41 and a half hours in, if that.
Sure.
And the other thing I would say regarding that is, often when I worked more, I wasn't working. I was there and not focused on the tasks that I needed to. It's funny. I always used to laugh that my most effective days in a 9-to-5 job were the 2 or 3 days before vacation, because things had to get done. You had to hand stuff off, and I was just a machine. I go in and work, 8 hours and get it all done. You're like, wow, how did I do that? Oh, it's because I have to get this done when I get home, and I have to pack, and I have to. And I think we fall into that trap that we have unlimited time. I have a friend who's just, his kids are going off to school, and he's like, I can't wait to be able to work more. And I said, well, you have that option, but you might want to see if you could actually work less and do more things outside of work.
Or just focus differently, right?
Yep.
As you were saying, is that it's just as much sometimes a matter of how effective and efficient am I? And when I'm able to do that, how much difference does that make?
Right. And there's that whole theory that, however much time you have to complete a task, you will take that much time.
Yes.
I forget the principle. There's a name to it, but I can't remember it. But it is very true. Give someone 2 weeks and they'll be working on it on the last day. Give someone 2 hours, they'll get it done in 2 hours.
Yes. Yeah, no doubt.
You know a little bit about this with your taxes, right, Tom?
Yes. Give them an extension, they'll take the extension.
That's it. That's right.
All right, so Bob, as
get some feedback.
Oh, good. Well, you know what? It's always good to get a little feedback sometimes.
There you go.
Well, he's just offering. We found another way for people to make comments on our show. For those people on the podcast who can't see, there is Buddy's truck has pulled up behind us. Looks like he maybe does pool sales, service, and renovations. Maybe Bob can talk to him. Maybe he wants to sponsor our show.
Maybe that could be our new thing. Every day we have an outdoor sponsor who just rolls up with their vehicle.
It's not, something to consider.
It is.
All right. So, Bob, as you consider laboring less and the benefits, what's your one thing?
I think it's hard to see the benefits when you're in the situation. And I think that's where it's really helpful to have an outside person giving you some feedback, helping you see the forest through the trees, because I just think it's impossible. Whenever I was in a situation where I was laboring more, I felt like I was stuck. And if someone, if I said to myself, well, I really should slow down, that didn't make sense. But if someone came in and said, hey, you've worked 60 hours this week, and frankly, you didn't get anything more done than you would have gotten done in 32 hours, which one boss said to me one time. And I argued with him, and then he said, well, all right, next week, let's keep a list of all the things you do. So we went through, and he said, how long should this take? And I added it up. It was about 31 hours worth of work. I had worked 66 hours that week. So I had wasted over half the time.
Interesting. Well, maybe not wasted. You just did something different with that time.
I was not as effective as I could be. And it was a real lesson for me in terms of getting things done, that you've got to buckle down and get done and get the work done so you can play. Because I had, in that stretch, I was working nights and weekends, and I just, a lot.
Sure. Well, that becomes, you fall into that habit or that routine.
Yes.
It's easy to do.
It's very easy for it to just grow and grow and grow. And to believe that you're the only person who can solve the problem.
Yes. I'm not sure. Is that a benefit?
No, but I think it's something that the benefit is realizing that those things can happen.
Okay.
And recognizing it early on, or finding someone who can recognize it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Even a partner, a spouse, a real good friend could tell you, hey, you seem to be working a whole lot. What are you doing? Are you guys trying to get to the moon or something? No, we have this project. Oh, well, what's different about this from the last project you worked on, or the one before that, or the one before that?
Sure.
So what about you?
So I think one of the benefits is that you become a great example. And one of the challenges is, I think I shouldn't say that, because that's tomorrow's episode. Although I think that one of the things that happens a lot is we look up to our leaders to see what example are they setting. And I think so often the example we see set is exactly like you said. They're the leader, they're getting paid more, they feel like they need to work harder and longer. And so that is the culture that is developed within organizations, that's the expectation. And I think that the opportunity is that if you as a leader show that you can labor less, whether that is not feeling like you have to work in hours, or that you don't have to struggle with things that you are not that strong at and don't enjoy doing. That when you can show the example of pushing that aside and doing the work that you need to do, and when the work is done, you can go. And that when you have things that you're struggling with, you hand them off to someone else who is really skilled at that. To me, there's the opportunity that's there, is that you have the benefit of showing others that this is possible. And then I believe that that's one of the true values of a leader is, can they provide the example for others to follow so that the organization overall wins out, and the people who they are leading can figure out how they can become leaders as well.
I like that. And just to be clear, Tom is not advocating throwing work aside that has to be done. If you don't have people that can do it, you get to do it yourself. Just so we're clear.
Yes,
but you can outsource it. You can do a lot of things. There are a lot of options that I think people fail to consider. But the way I heard that originally, it was like, well, if you don't like doing this, let it go. Not always the case. Correct?
Correct. Although sometimes those are the things that maybe don't have the value that we think. I think it's one of those things that we're like, oh yeah, I've got to do this. Do you really have to do it? Or is it beneficial to what you do? And it's one of those things you might want to consider is this really beneficial for the organization as as it moves forward is like, if it's really hard and it's something we don't as a group don't enjoy doing, why are we doing it? Like, what is it providing the value? Then you have to make a decision about that. And it's not just a matter of I like it, I don't like it. It's more about what is the value it provides. Does that make sense?
It does. Makes complete sense. So
All
if
right.
you folks are thinking about this whole situation, you don't know what to do with it, you've got something where you're overwhelmed, you're stuck, or you're in a nonprofit, you're running a nonprofit, you're a leader, you're involved in a nonprofit, there is a roundtable that Tom's putting together for nonprofits. It's a great opportunity. He's going to lead you through some activities, exercises. You're going to build a team. You're going to really get to know the people you work with and become resources for each other. Plus, have the guidance of someone like Tom and maybe even a little bit of me every now and then. You never know. Could happen.
Absolutely.
So if that's something of interest to you, go to renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Hint, hint, if you're saying I'm not a nonprofit, that sounds really good. Don't you worry your pretty little head. There's going to be one for small businesses and for entrepreneurs really soon.
Absolutely. So we hope that if that's something you're interested in, you'll go to our site, check it out. And if you have your one thing that you'd like to share, please feel free to put it in the comments. Or if you listen to the podcast and you didn't know that we had a sponsor from our pool friends, Buddy the Pool Man, you can always go to our Facebook group where you could see it there. And you can share your thoughts and ideas and your one thing. So we look forward to seeing you inside that Ring of Renegades Facebook group, or we'll see you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Eastern time for our next episode of Today's Antidote. Have a great day, everyone.
Hey, embrace the renegading you. It is so worth it. It'll make a difference in your day in profound ways.
Yes, it will. All right, everyone, go out and make it a great day. We'll see you soon. Thanks for listening to Today's Antidote, powered by the Renegade Success Network. The Renegade Success Network helps you confidently create your own unique pathway to success. To learn more about the Renegade Success Network and how you can take your next step, follow us on Twitter, connect on LinkedIn, or join the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. For full details on how you can join our community, go to renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Embrace the renegade in you.